wanted to give you an update on the garage build. As you can see, there's really not much progress here. The guys were out here working and they were working on the back, and then they came to me and said they had an issue and they needed to go get a tool, so they left and they haven't been back. So I don't know where they had to go to get the tool, but they've been gone for a few hours. Anyways, we do have a couple of issues that we have to deal with. First one is when they laid down these bottom legs here to mount the building. We found that the concrete was not level in the back. So on that side and this side, there was a large gap. Put a level on it, you could see it wasn't level. The other issue that we have is originally this concrete was poured too short. This is a stepped building, a notched building, and the top portion up here was not poured long enough. So we modified the building in order to be able to fit here. But if you look, it was trimmed, the concrete company trimmed it here, but if you see the blue chalk line, that's actually where it needs to be. And if we follow it down, see it gets skinnier and skinnier and skinnier until right there. So I've contacted the company to come out here and trim this down to be down. There. Now when we go down here, concrete is actually underneath. These are the bolts we're using to secure this. Then we get down here, and you can see the concrete needs to be trimmed again. Super windy out, we're expecting storms, which is not good, putting up a building. Take a look here. My fingers through that. That's because this is not level. So this needs to be trimmed on both sides and the back. This area here is going to be like an office. This is the first bay, which will be where the lift will be. Third, final of the doors. They consider this the side of the building. I would say it's there. Then on this side, which they call the front, we're going to have one door in the back over here, and it's going to be a couple of feet in from the edge. And I decided to put a door here for a couple of reasons: flow through ventilation as well. Also, the fact that the inside for this building was originally designed to be a 30 by 50. So I mostly work on Volkswagens. Plastic Beetle's about 14 feet long. So obviously I could put two in, nose to nose, end to end. However, that would give me no room for any type of storage or anything like that. So then I thought to myself, if I add a door on the side here for cars that aren't really going to be moving around too much, I could pull them in directly on the side, and that would give me a lot of extra space. Also going to be building a loft in this building because our base wall height is 14 feet, so we'll be able to do that. So on that end, I'm sorry about the wind, we're going to have the loft built up in there. If you're in Florida, which is where I live, of course, we're the hurricane state. This building here, these double legs, that is designed for 170-mile-an-hour winds. But you and I both know that if a hurricane comes against a metal building, probably that's the only thing that's going to be left standing. But it is what it is. I can't afford to build a fortress. And, things happen in life. And hopefully that's what insurance will be for. But that is the update here. That's what's going on. We're supposed to be getting rain later today. You guys can see the wind is really strong. Actually, it blew over some of these pieces. One of the things I did do is I cut a couple of branches off this tree here because they were way up high, but they were actually over the edge of the building. And last year we had the hurricanes roll through. There was a lot of tree damage in this neighborhood where I live. A lot of trees down. And surprised this one didn't come down, this old oak tree. But I definitely don't want it to come down on the building. Same thing with these small trees here. I cut off all the branches that were facing the building. And not 100% sure if I'm going to keep them or not. These two on the end are kind of scrawny looking. But we'll see. Don't like cutting down any trees. These were planted here. Give you an idea how close they are to the building. But I will have to make a ramp in order to be able to get cars in here. We're gonna have to build this up with dirt. Not exactly sure how we're gonna do the ramp. If we want to build up the dirt and do an asphalt ramp, do a concrete ramp, I don't know. Any of you guys have suggestions that are watching this? Let me know. Give me an update and some feedback if you've built one. But I'm hoping that this will get done within the next couple of days and I'll be able to show you the finished product. Yeah, Dr. V Dubs, I see that. I was thinking about that because I definitely don't want the roots to be messing with the foundation for sure. I don't know how big these trees get. You can tell they're not very old. Would not be much to cut them down because they're not very big at all. And you see here, I can get my hand probably about 3/4 of the way around it. I'd say the biggest one is actually farthest away from the building, as you can see. But in my meantime, while I'm waiting for these guys to come back, because I got to be here to make sure everything is done correctly according to specs. If they have their paperwork, they always double check and they ask, make sure. The company that I bought the building from is called Big Buildings Direct. They're located here in Tampa. The company that builds the metal building is called Steel Buildings and Structures. Steel Buildings and Structures, and they're I think they have a Georgia and a North Carolina location, I believe. But that company has been so great. They've helped me with a lot of questions and issues. I've had a lot of problems on this project, and they've been there all the way, doing their best to stay on top of things, and I really appreciate that. have a door in this wall here. I'm not sure exactly how that works, if they have to cut it. I don't think you're stepping in over the door. This machine, this loader that I had to rent for them, check this out. This is some deep ruts this machine makes. I asked the guy who delivered it how much it weighs. He told me 33,000 pounds. So there's the company, H&E Equipment Services. They do not rent retail though. So the building company had to rent it. I do love the airless tires. It's pretty awesome. It's four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering. And I think it's got I want to say a 36-foot reach maybe. That was required for this building because of the 14-foot walls. But once this is all said and done, I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do here in order to get into the garage. So we've got at least, looking at maybe 6 inches of a step. Temporarily I could get some ramps, but I'm debating how I want to actually build this up. I'm gonna do, again, some fill dirt in here and maybe a concrete ramp to come in, or an asphalt ramp. So I don't know if you have any suggestions, Dr. V-Dub, on this one. What do you think? What should I do to get up onto the concrete? As it is right now, only Ocho is the one that's going to be able to get up here. This side is a little bit lower. So that's really the update so far. Not a whole lot has transpired. Got the roof trusses over here. Construction. Like the design. See how they're bent here, shaped. Actually, they've got the logo of the manufacturer Steel Building Structures. Yeah, one of my neighbors, he's using some boards as well to get up into his garage. This yard, if you look here, you can see we had quite a slope here. Right in the back over there, there's actually a ditch that's used for retention if we need it. We're very fortunate our property is high. My neighbor, part of his acreage here is really low. If you look here, you can see it. And during the hurricanes, we had a tremendous amount of rain. This became a lake, and it actually went all the way across over to that little retention area. There's never any standing water here. Got the wind actually blowing the metal on the trailer. Yeah, if you look up here at this tree, you see that there? A lot of these trees, the tops of these trees came down during the hurricane. We were very fortunate. We don't have any big trees that are by the house per se. But granted, if one of those completely came down, I could probably hit the garage. But let's see. We're pretty fortunate. Yeah, so getting back to about the foundation. So we had to get a lot of fill dirt in here to bring it up. And got some really thick footers in the back because of that. So I thought when they were gonna do this, that they would kind of mound up the dirt over here, but obviously they didn't do that. So I'm gonna have to get some more dirt brought in here, and we're gonna have to have it built up correctly so it allow water to, drain and head back here and go back there. Definitely don't want to pull it up on to the garage or come in. That's no fun. But I'm hoping because the building itself, the covered portion starts right here. So that is the actual building that's going to be totally covered. And then from this point forward, we have a lean-to. So it's going to be built into the roof of the main building. It will just come down like this. And just like we have these two legs, we want to call them, together. There's going to be ones mounted out here as well and going down. All right, so that's the latest live update. If the guys come back today and do some more work, I'll give you another update. If not, it'll probably be tomorrow. I'll get back to working on cars. So my daily driver had a flat this morning when I came out, and come to find out 3 of the 4 tires were loaded up with nails. I had a total of 8 nails and 3 tires, so I have to replace all of them now. And then I did some work on another car, did oil change, and then put the new fuel pump in the Polo, and guess what, guys, it doesn't work. So I think we have an issue with the wiring now, which before I got power to the pump from the wiring, now it doesn't seem to be putting out power to the pump. I got to get in there and do some testing, but it's really frustrating. I'm trying to get as much work as I can done. We got Faith over there, the 73. Be trying to do some work on her too if it doesn't rain. It is supposed to rain this afternoon. It's also supposed to rain, I think, overnight. And speaking of rain, this area here, this sandy area you see, this is where the water flows. And then it kind of heads out to the back. So I'll do a little work on Faith, and then I got to get back on Ocho here. Got to take the suspension apart again and get this thing lowered down so he's a little more drivable. It is blistering hot out here. Working in the sun is no bueno. Here's our nail infested tires. There's 1, 2, 3 there. 4, 5 right there. And of course most of them are on the sidewall. Again, only 1 out of the 4 did not have any nails in it. I'll sign off for now, and I'll catch you guys later.